Record.
Gosh, welcome everybody. I have a special guest tonight. This young lady has consistently impressed me. I've been here 20 years. It takes a lot to impress us, but the consistency of this girl that we wanted to have here to speak her heart to you, tell you her story, her numbers and her work ethic reflects everything you're going to hear. And she's so humble, and that touches me, and it'll touch you, and you have a lot to learn. Just a couple numbers. I've been doing these every twice a week for 20 years. We were doing conference calls, and now we do Zooms, and it's been enjoyable the way that Networks is growing in a second. At the fourth wave of growth we're in, and a couple of us heard some numbers today. We had more growth last month than we had in August and in September, and bringing in loyal customers and distributors. So right now, if you make up your mind that you're going to go after this thing, you're in this wave of growth, you're going to get caught up in it. And when you get caught up in the draft, you're going to put the work ethic into it. The way you live life in 12 months will be totally different. I know, because I've been here. This is the fourth biggest run I've ever had with Mr. Pentecost. But to Tamika Davis, I want you to come on and tell your story. Share with the same passion. I've heard you so many times, and I've had the pleasure of meeting you once. And my wife and I are forever changed. So come on and tell your story, and let's just go right to the point of what makes it tick for you.
Awesome. Hello, you guys. My name is Tamika. I've been in the business almost 7 years. I live in Wyoming, originally from Utah. And if you guys can turn your cameras on, it just makes the call so much better. Like if I was a math teacher when this business found me, and I get a lot of cues from like looking at people. You know, most of the time in my math class, it was like deer in headlights. Kids had no idea what I was talking about. But then when they would start to get it, you know, and I would know that I was saying the right things, then heads would start to shake, and it just makes the call so much better. I don't care if you're eating. I don't care if you're driving. Like, it's just nice to see faces. So thanks, you guys. Hi. Like I said, I've been in this business 7 years. When this business found me, I was teaching high school math, and I was coaching the girls varsity soccer team. And honestly, it was my dream job. When I was in 10th grade, I had the best math teacher ever. And I was so bad at math. I got away with C's. Like, I just were praying for C's. And then my 10th grade math teacher really helped the light bulb click on. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a math teacher too, so I can help other kids feel this way. And so, I got a scholarship playing soccer to come to Wyoming, and didn't know a single person here, and just kind of started my life, met my husband, and he was from Wyoming. And so we just decided to stick around here. And plus, of all of the 50 states, Wyoming was like top 5 for paying teachers. And those of you, is there any teachers here? Drop a 1 if you're a teacher. I mean, you don't go into the profession to make a lot of money, but if you're going to teach, you might as well teach in a state that's going to take care of you, right? So that was a big reason why I decided to come to Wyoming. And so I got a job straight out of college. I taught middle school math and science for 2 years. And then I got my dream job teaching at the high school of the town that I lived in. And I taught there for 4 years. And my last year of teaching, I got pregnant and I had my son. And let me back up a little bit. So this was back in 2014. I was in my 5th year of teaching. And that's when I first saw my very first It Works post from a girl that I went to high school with. It was March of 2014. And it's interesting that I don't remember a lot of things, but I do remember that. And it was a before and after picture. I was sitting in bed with my husband, and I showed him my phone, and I was like, yeah, right. Like, look at this girl from high school. Look what she's doing. This is ridiculous. And looking back now, it's a lot of jealousy, right? Anybody feel that way when you're like, how stupid are they? Like, there's no way that works. They don't really make money, right? But it's because you're slaving away at your job, hating your life. And here they are posting pictures on social media and being able to get paid. And so I just was a silent hater. She didn't know it. I just was a silent hater, and I just kept watching her. And then one time I made the mistake of liking one of her posts, and then she sent me a message and said, hey, are you interested in trying this ThermoFit? Or it was ThermoFit at the time. And I was like, no, thanks. I'm not interested, because I had grand plans of that summer. I was going to run a half marathon, my very first one. I was going to lose all the baby weight. I was going to get my body back before school started. And I didn't need a quick fix, because I was going to do things the right way. So that whole summer, I trained for my half marathon. End of the summer came, and I didn't lose a single pound. a single pound. I was so mad. I never ran that much in my life, but your body just changes after kids. And so I ended up messaging her because she stayed consistent this whole entire time. So I ended up messaging her at the end of August, and I signed up as a customer in September. I did the 3-month commitment. After the 3-month commitment, she asked me if I would ever consider doing the business. And I immediately told her, no, thanks. I'm not interested. I had a real job. I was so busy during that year. They asked me to teach on my prep hour because they had kids that were so far behind on math that they needed me to teach then. I was coaching the varsity soccer team. So I literally was one of the first teachers to school. I'd get there about 6:30 every morning. I would teach until 3. I would have about 30 minutes before soccer practice would start. Then I'd go back up to my room, clean up my room, grade any papers that I needed to, because I didn't have prep hour to do it on. So I'd grade my papers, make sure that my lesson plans were set up for the next day, and I'd get home about 7-8 o'clock at night. My husband works shift work. He works out in a mine here in Wyoming. And so his schedule rotated between graveyards and day shifts. And so there's 14 days off that he had. And if I was working, then I didn't even get to see him that day. Or if I was gone on the weekends playing soccer, I didn't even get to see him. So I was seeing my husband maybe 5 times a month. Okay. And my 1-year-old who was home, we had a great nanny who came and watched him, which I was so grateful for. But like, I didn't even get to see him like his whole first year of life. And so this was just how I was living my life, working sun up to sundown, doing everything I could to provide for my students at school and take care of business at home. And so when she asked if I'd ever consider doing this business, I was like, no, I wouldn't. And so just continue to watch her. She looked amazing. She was going and traveling, and she had friends, and it looked like she was having so much fun doing this business. And it was Christmas break of 2014. So from March all the way to Christmas break, just stayed consistent, she did. And I looked at my husband on Christmas break and I said, I can't do this anymore. When they give the incentive for teachers who are going to resign, they give like a little bonus. I was like, when that comes out in January, I'm putting it in. I'm just going to be a stay-at-home mom. And I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. If you're a stay-at-home mom, put a 2 in the chat. I'm just curious. Like, I never had the desire to stay home with my kids. I like to be busy. I like to work. I like to contribute. It never was on my radar. And this, as I was talking to my husband before this call, it just dawned on me today. The reason why I never had the desire to be a stay-at-home mom is because I just didn't want to be broke. And I thought that if I were to stay home and live off of one income, that we wouldn't have money. And so I just never had it in my mind that I would be a stay-at-home mom. So then when this crossroads happened, I was like, okay, I'll just be a stay-at-home mom then. We don't have to worry about paying for daycare. And maybe I could babysit somebody else's kids. Maybe I could make something and sell it on Etsy. Like maybe there's still a way that I could bring in some money, but like, I just can't keep working for corporate America anymore. And so it was on December 31st of 2014, 10 p.m. at night. I was doing what the cool kids do at my in-laws' house, bringing in the new year. And I messaged my friend and I said, okay, what do I got to do to get started? And so I signed up. And what's interesting is, signing up on the last day of the month, you don't really know what you're doing, right? And so on January 1st, they announced Ruby bonuses for everyone who joined on January 1st. I was like, wait, I joined an hour or 2 hours too soon. So I didn't qualify for any bonuses. I was commission qualified for 2 hours. And that's what I walked in down this business, but I didn't let it get me down. I was like, well, shoot, if I can't earn this Ruby bonus, then I'm going to make sure I sign up my husband and my husband gets this Ruby bonus. So I went Ruby. Ruby my second month in, and I got him Ruby his second month in. So I was able to earn that bonus, and I went Emerald. And then I went Diamond in 7 months, where I replaced my teacher income. I got my last teacher check July of 2015, and my It Works check was the exact same. And so I'd replaced my income in 7 months. We went double in 13 months, triple 2 years later, and here we are still at triple. And it's just been everything. And it's just interesting because you don't realize the different blessings and opportunity that the business is going to open for you that you just never think that you need. I literally joined the business so I could make a little bit of money to pay for my products, maybe help out with some bills here and there. And now I'm able to make more than my husband, working from home, spending every day with my kids, which I didn't want to be home with my kids. And now I can't imagine a different life. And this business has just kind of like opened up my eyes to, I can have and be and do whatever I want if I'm just willing to do the work. So that's just a little bit about it.
Well, 7 years with us. Did you dream 7 years ago you'd be sitting where you are now?
No, I taught for 6 years. And so now I've officially been doing this longer, and when you think about it, when I signed up for teaching, I was going to teach till I was 65 and retire and then start living my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can still, I plan on doing this until I'm 65, but I feel like I'm retired right now, like living my life.
Yeah. So, you're not doing anything different than you were teaching and coaching. So you're coaching and teaching now. It's just, I have to ask a question. Is it pay just a little bit better over here when you're still teaching and coaching?
Oh, so much better.
So let me ask you, how does it make you feel as you start to develop other leaders and you help people grow and you lend them everything that you have that they need, the hope, the desires, the visions, the dream? Because right now, from what I've heard you several times, you're really great at casting a vision from where you were. You had a desire, you went and got it. I like the fact that you saw your husband 5 times a month, and now you're making more money than him. You saw your child, and you're raising other people's kids while someone else, the great nanny, raised your kids. So other than you make a bunch more money now for doing the same thing and you get to stay at home, I know you got to hate that. What's really the difference or the fulfillment as being that full-time wife, the full-time mommy, and you're able to command a CEO kind of pay at triple where you can actually retire your husband if you want, I'm pretty sure. I said, how
Yeah.
does that make you feel? But hey, I need to ask you, how does that make him feel in the second part of that question? How's that affected your child?
Yeah, so lots of good questions in there. To start out with, like teaching wise, I love teaching. I feel like that was like my calling here, is to be able to create a system or a game plan that helps people get from point A to point B, like foiling or doing quadratic equations, like those kinds of things I love. And I see a lot of people like throwing up right now. But like to be able to create a simple 1, 2, 3 system where people can win, or like students can win. We were singing songs in math class, and we were doing like different movements to get our body moving. And so when I left teaching, I was sad because I was like, this is the part that fills me up. Like, this is the part that like makes me feel like I'm giving purpose. And it wasn't until my upline quit, all my upline quit on me. And I got to stand on my own 2 feet. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I can still create. I can still like create a system that helps people get from A to B. And it just looks different than it did in the classroom. And so really just like embracing that makes me feel like I'm still teaching, makes me feel like I still have a purpose. And so whatever like you guys' biggest strength is, allow that to work for you in this business. And then as far as like my daughter was born, so my daughter's 6. And so she has never not seen me home. Like I've been home with her from start to finish, like all of the things. And my son, of course, like he was 1, so he doesn't remember a lot, but my kids, like, they just love having me. Like I got to go to their school for the Halloween party, and like I get to pack their lunches and walk them to the bus stop every day. And there are parents that don't get to do that. They just have to like send their kids off by themselves. And like, I'm grateful that I'm there, that I can like help get their kids on the bus or help make sure that they're protected there at the bus stop because they catch a kind of a busy corner, but like, I never wanted to do that just because I didn't think that I would be able to have both, have an abundant life and be present in my kid's life. And, we have had to set boundaries. Like when I'm in my office and the door is closed, you don't get to come in. Even when my daughter was 1, 2 years old walking, like they knew that like mom's going to work, and we've just really included our kids on our different goals. And when I went triple, it was like, when I go triple, we're going to buy a new camper for us. That way we can enjoy hunting more, and when I hit this promotion, we're going to buy this. And so my kids have always been on board with it. And so they know that when mom's working. And with my husband, when I first joined, I was like, I'm going to retire you. And we're going to be a full-time family. And a few years into the business, he's like, Tamika, I don't want to be home. He's like, I like my job. I want to work. I want to contribute. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had to kind of shift a little bit as far as like what I wanted for us versus what we needed together. And he has a great job and he does love it. And it just takes the stress off of us. But now, because both of us are working and contributing so much, like our house is going to be paid off. We were able to build a brand new dream house 7 years ago, and it's going to be paid off in the next 3-4 years, just because we're able to just completely do that. And I kind of feel like once we get all of our debt paid off and X amount in the bank, then maybe he's going to be interested in either coming home or maybe starting something that like he enjoys. He's really into hunting and he's really into geography. That's what he went to school for, and map making and all the nerdy things. We're a super nerdy family over here, but just it's opened up his eyes that he can make and create and have a life that he wants to.
Well, let me ask you another question. And I have two daughters that grew up with full-time parents for 20 years. And when I left the bank and come home, and I just quit cold turkey, there was no business until I come home and started working. And by the way, I don't have an upline. It's just Mark. He's a great CEO. He's a great upline. But the confidence in your daughter, the confidence in your children, that you've been there for 7 years and that she's grown up with a full-time mother, that you get to instill your value system. And by the way, whether you realize it or not, you're instilling the entrepreneurship in your children, whether you realize it or not. Both of my daughters are entrepreneurs. Carissa knows them very well. They love It Works, and they've got two great businesses here. Daddy didn't build it for us, and if you want it, you're going to get it. If not, you'll punch a clock. And but anyway, as you see those kids come up, they become more confident. My daughters become more contributors to everything we were after, as far as the foundations we've created for things that we support. How do you see the confidence in your children that mommy's home instilling her value system in your kids?
I'm so glad you asked that question. So, my kids actually, my son, he makes bracelets, these little like rubber band bracelets, and he like sells them and mails them to people. And they've got this little stand that they put out when they get home from school. We live next to a junior high. And so they get out about 30 minutes before the junior high, and they, stock it with candy and stock it with drinks and different stuff. And they're out there every day, just trying to bring in some money, and they want a new trampoline. And so we said, if you earn half the money, then we'll cover the other half. And just this summer, they were able to bring in $200 by doing their little stands, and we're covering the other half, so that way they can get a new trampoline in the spring. And so them just seeing what I'm doing and knowing that like you can literally create anything and bring in income, I'm seeing it in them now. And I listened to the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, where they talk about every time you find money to like pick it up and say money's attracted to me. And so that's something that we've done together as a family. And I kid you not, my kids find money everywhere. Like I went to the post office today to drop off some letters and stuff. My daughter's like on the ground looking underneath the countertops to find some money, and she always finds it. And she picks it up and like, we don't even care who's around. And I just say, money's attracted to you. Everywhere you go, we find it. And they do. And so we've just like tried to really help them build that money mindset at this young age, because growing up, my mom is in the Army. My dad had a job, like max 3 months is all that he would ever be. Like really, my dad was the stay-at-home mom jumping between. And then like we just never really had money. And so now as I got older, I would just hold on to it. Like I never wanted to spend it. I always just wanted to save it because I didn't feel like it was abundant. And I've always worked hard, but like I just always felt like I had to keep it and then I could never spend it. And so to try and break that money mindset with my kids and let them know that it's abundant, and let them know that we can work hard to earn it and that we can enjoy the things that we spend it on, has been absolutely huge.
Wow. So how has it affected daddy that mommy's come on home and you like knocked it out of the park? And as far as the stress, I know every man you end up, you tuck all your feelings inside and you don't let nobody know that you're weak or you're having a bad day. But you ladies can tell. I've been with Miss Lackey 43 years. She can tell when I'm kind of letting it go and relieve. But for you to come home and actually execute a business that you didn't think was for you, which God brought it into your life anyway, whether you liked it or not, you just had to mature up to take ownership of it to make this big run for your family. So how does that affect him as far as knowing that mommy's got it? I'm over here in the mine and she's over here and she's in her office and she's got it. How does that make him feel? And how does that affect the relationship?
He's super proud of me. I mean, I've always been this way. I moved out of my house when I was 15 and rented a basement apartment. So I've like always been on my own, and or not always, but I've been on my own for a long time. And I'm a make a way kind of person. And so like even going to college, like I made sure that I was good enough at soccer to get a full ride scholarship. So I didn't have to worry about it. And so I've always been the kind of person that's like set a goal and then do whatever it takes to reach it. What I can appreciate about him is that he's always been supportive, but this has been my thing. He actually didn't try a single product for my whole first year in the business. He would watch the kids while I would go and do the wrap parties and go do the launch parties. Like he was always watching the kids, but he was not interested in trying the products. It was my thing, you know? And so when it was December of 2015, you know, almost a year in the business, he's like, okay, order me this, that, and the other. I'm going to try it for 30 days to see if it really works. Cause here I am, you know, diamond leader. He still hasn't tried anything. And he tried it and he liked it and it worked for him. He lost weight, which he doesn't feel like he would have lost without the products. And so, but still it was my thing. And so, through the years, he's always been supportive. He's always been my biggest cheerleader. We always do GLS together. If you guys haven't ever done that, it's huge. Global Leadership Summit. It's usually in August. We started going to that together about 3-4 years ago. And that's really helped our relationship as far as understanding the ups and downs and how we can be there to better support each other and grow ourselves as leaders. It's helped our marriage. It's helped our parenting. It's helped our friendship. Just doing personal development. You know, he's listening to podcasts. I listen to them whenever we're driving, and we always just kind of reflect on, you know, our thoughts on it. And so we've always been a team, and it's never been about competing or who's making more than the other. And so, but respecting each other. I don't ever force him or make him feel guilty for not wanting to be a part of this. And he doesn't do the same thing for me as far as like being on my phone. You know, there's a lot of times, especially when you're pushing for a promotion, where you're on your phone a lot. And I have to say, listen, this is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put it away. But then I have to uphold my end of the deal where I put it away when I say I'm going to put it away and spend the time with him, you know. And when we were going to like Thanksgiving dinner or holiday stuff, you know, like his family maybe didn't agree that I was on my phone all of the time, but we had to sit down and have that come to Jesus talk. We're like, hey, this is Tamika's full-time job. She's not teaching in the school like she was all of the times before, and she gets to be here with us. But that means that it's got to be around her work schedule. And what can I do? I can try and get it all done before I go. But, you know, we just had that mutual agreement that when mom's on her phone, mom's working. I'm not scrolling. I'm not playing games, and I'm working. And so it doesn't have to be a sore spot in our relationship or family life.
One more question. I know this is sounding repetitive. Here we are 7 years later. Did you ever dream in your wildest imagination, leaving home at 15, renting an apartment, being aggressive like my baby daughter, just coming after, setting your goals and coming to reach it? Did you ever think you'd be living this particular life with a direct sales company and remove Fight X or whatever we called it back in a fat patch? That's what I called it 20 years ago. Did you ever believe that you'd be living this kind of life, speaking to people all over the place in a leadership role? Now you're impacting people that you have no idea that you're impacting, not in a classroom, but around the world, that people's heard of you. They know about you. They want to meet you someday. Did you ever dream that you'd be that person or that lady of impact?
Never. I mean, never. Even just
Wow.
like creating like, you know, the YouTube videos or, you know, just the different kinds of posts that we're making on Facebook. Anyone ever go back and look at your memories before you started this business? And you were like, oh man, I was living a sad life that I thought was happy. Like, I mean, come on, like this business truly opens up your eyes to the impact that you can have on so many people.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Carissa, what you got for our guest?
I'm gonna start with the organized part, and then I'm gonna work my way into the beginning of the month. So you have 2 small kids, even though you're still from home full time. How do you manage your day as far as it goes? Because it just, I don't know, in my eyes looking in, Tamika is organized as crap. Tamika got graphics for everything, boards for this, everything is together and done. Like, is that just you, or it took, how did you get to that point? Or because you've always, you've been in teacher mode, so you've always had that structure.
So I've always had structure. I've been busy since I could drive. Like I almost take it as a challenge to keep everything like 5 to 10 minutes apart, just to make sure I can be on time for everything. So I'm really, really, really unique in that aspect that I have a structure, and my kids have grown up on it, and it's just the expectation in our household. And so that would be my biggest piece of advice is if you guys have young ones, start now with the structure. I mean, growing up, we always went to bed at 8 p.m. at night until we got jobs, and if we had to close or something, then sometimes it was 9 or 10. But I mean, I was always in bed before 10 growing up. And I kept that through college. I kept that through, newlywed life. And I've kept that through having kids. And so my kids, they go to bed at 8 o'clock. They're not allowed out of their rooms until 6:45 a.m. They know how to read their time. So if they wake up sooner, that's cool. They can play with toys in their room or read their books. There's no electronics. So they're not waking up early to try and do that. And so it's bed at 8. And it's up they can come out of their rooms at 6:45. And why is that? Because I wake up at 5:30. I do my scripture study. I do my prayers. I hop on a Zoom with my team at 6 a.m. We journal, we get some morning work done. And then at 6:45 is when I turn it off. And then I get breakfast and stuff ready for the kids. And I put my phone away from 6:45 to 7:30 when they go catch the bus. So that way I just get to spend time with them in the mornings, and I'm not stressed and pushing them out the door or anything like that. And then they catch the bus at 7:30. I do my workout at 8 o'clock. I do a power hour from 9 to 10, sometimes 11, enjoy some lunch, put my phone away, let things kind of simmer. And then I'll pop back on 1, 2 o'clock, do another power hour. My kids get home at 3:30. Same thing when they get home, phone goes away. They have an after school snack waiting for them at the counter. We go through their book bags. We read books. We prep dinner together. We have dinner. And then usually about 7, 8 o'clock, I'm back on Zoom for power hours and calls and, filling me up. And then this is when they get their phone time. They can be on their phone. They can have their electronic time. They can watch their TV shows when I'm doing, my hour of work here in the evening. And then it all gets turned off. We do book and song, they go to bed, like that's just our structure. And I am like, it's been different this year because this is the first year that I've had 2 kids in school, and sing praises. Oh my gosh. Anyone who's had this life, it's the most amazing life ever. And I've been waiting 7 years for it, and it's finally here, and it's amazing. And so, but before, it was the same thing. I had the exact same schedule, except for I scheduled in an hour of Barbie time with my daughter when she was home, or we would go to library time. And, while they were singing the songs and reading the books at library time, then that's when I could work on my host poster, work on, a couple things. And so even when they were home, we still had structured time with the different things that would go on in the community. So that way they were still getting out of the house. They were still getting stimulated, because it can't be from me all of the time, because that's exhausting. And so just setting up your schedule and sticking to it. And I think it starts with what time do you go to bed and what time are you waking up? So if you don't feel like you have a schedule, start with the bedtime, start with the alarm clock in the morning, and then go from there.
I love that. I mean, I'm definitely on that structured life, but I'm just glad that you put it into perspective as well, to let people know, because a lot of people feel like they don't have enough time in their day to accomplish all, or to get everything done. And I'm like, trust me, it's a lot being done in a day's time, but everyone has that same day to be able to make it managed around their time and their appointed day. So I love that you broke that down.
Well, one more thing that I add too is when I
Uh-huh.
started this, I was still working that full-time job, and I didn't have a prep hour, and I had a 30-minute lunch, and I literally would wake up like, I was at school at 6:30. I got up at 6. So then I changed it when I started this business, and I started waking up at 5:30. So that way I could use that half hour to get ready. And then I could use another half hour to prep my post, to send some messages before I got to school. And then I knew what post I was making. And back then we were posting every hour because that's what Facebook algorithm said we needed to do. And so every time between class breaks, I was like, hey, quick post, okay, quick post, quick post. During lunchtime, I would just send a couple messages out. After school, before soccer practice, send some messages out. And then at night, I did have to sacrifice some family time, or maybe we were all sitting on the couch, they were watching TV. I had earbuds in listening to a call, and so, I mean, we all have a busy season in life and it doesn't ever slow down. I don't feel like you always find things to fill up your time with. But you have to make a way, you have to figure it out. And if I wouldn't have, then I wouldn't have replaced my teacher income. Then I wouldn't have, then we would have been struggling more, living on one income rather than two. But like, I found a way, I made the time, I figured out what were the most business or income building, business producing, how do you say that? Income producing business
IPAs.
building. Yes. I found what was the most important and I made time for those things first. And so if you are super busy or struggling to get results, I mean, what do you need to be working on? Make sure that you get those things done first thing in the day.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So, and thank you for going deeper into that, because that was good. That helped out a lot. My next question would be, because that's something I always wanted to know more about. Because I'm like, you just have it all structured out. You just make it look like it's so super simple and easy. Every time somebody asks us something, I got it done. So it just makes it feel like it's easy. But another question, it's the beginning of the month. Today's November 3rd. It still feels like it's later than that. I know, Alex, I'm trying. It feels like it's later. What will be your beginning of the month tips? I mean, everyone already knows, I'm sure by now, auto ships is key for the first week of the month. But what else besides that would you give us beginning of the month tips?
So, what I found in my business is that when volumes are higher at the very beginning of the month, it keeps the momentum going longer. Everyone's super excited at the beginning. They're all committed to their goals. They're saying, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And then within 5 days, a week, you've lost half of them. Halfway through the month, you've lost even more. And so volumes at the very beginning of the month is huge. And so I'm shouting out anybody on my team who's run their auto shipment, the first, the second, hey, congrats, good job being commission qualified. Make little photos like badges and go post them on their wall and be like, you have the award of, commission qualified in 72 hours. Nobody knows what it means, right? But go celebrate everybody who did, right? Because volumes are higher because of that. The other thing I like to do at the very beginning of the month is push back customer auto shipments. Hey, super excited. You're going to be getting another product this month. Would you prefer your order to run on the 5th, the 10th, or the 15th? Would you like to add anything to it? And so I'm like bumping back orders. I'm trying to upsell with the customer orders that are coming through. And then also messaging my existing customers. Obviously this month we have new products coming out every week that are part of the sale. So I'm messaging them for that. But normally at the very beginning of the month, I'll send messages to my customers who have stopped ordering, just using my Connect app, like, hey, super excited for a new month. If there's anything you need, let me know. Here's our pick 2, pick 3 sale for the month, send them the quick photo and get as many one-time orders in the beginning of the month as I can. And then my other thing that I do is, instead of trying to take 30 days to complete my 4-in-1, my goal is 72 hours. Because if you give yourself a whole entire month to get 4 customers and 1 distributor, it'll take you the whole entire month and you may or may not hit it. But if you say, I'm doing the work that it takes to sign 4 customers and 1 distributor in the next 72 hours, you're going to do massive action and you're going to have a lot of enrollments, And so my goal has been, yes, it's 72 hours, but like 4-in-1 every week. So like Sunday's like my reset date. And I'm like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going hard. I'm planting all the seeds. I'm doing all the work. Right. And then maybe people are like Thursday, Friday. Oh, I get paid on then. You're right. So now I've done all the work. I've got orders that are coming in, boom, 4-in-1 done by Friday, trying to make it happen again the next month. And so just getting in that mindset of, I have to put in the work I have to put in the action for the goals that I want to hit, and making sure that the timeline is appropriate, because there's no reason why you can't sign 5 enrollments in one day. There's no reason why you can't, if you're willing to do the work. And so just figure out what that work is and just get it done as soon as possible. And then what's that going to do? It's going to get you excited. You're like, oh my gosh, I just completed my 4-in-1 and it's only the 5th of the month. Like what? I can do it again. And then I can do it again. And so having that sense of urgency, you know, and getting those volumes up and getting those orders in makes you feel like you're ahead of the game and not behind.
I love that. I love that. I love the part about pushing everything forward instead of waiting on the 25th. There's a lot of people that love to wait till the 25th to even start working their business because that's the day where they see everything finalized and now they want to work. That's the procrastinators. So if you push everything back, now your mindset is I can start working my business on the 1st because you're pushing everything back. So it's I love that because that will help out a lot with so many people's mindset changes and continue to move it back some more. So I love that. And for all the existing LCs, sending out the pictures, showing them the pick 2, pick 3, the deals that go through on the weekdays. I mean, each week of the month, because they're getting those emails. I'm getting them. So I know they're getting them. So you can easily just utilize a graphic to send with the picture. I mean, to send with the whatever you say. You can easily go into the email and screenshot a picture there, something. I love the fact of just being able to reach out to those existing LCs to let them know, hey, blah, blah, blah is going on right now. I'm not sure if you've seen the special, but you can do blah, blah, blah. Like, for example, this week is keto coffee, sugar, cookie, and pumpkin spice. And just letting them notice so that they know it exists. So what would be 2 things you would leave people as call to actions tonight to accomplish? Besides that stuff, because they're gonna do that too. Like we setting high goals.
Yeah. So I had this conversation with my team, and if you've got your tell me in the comments how many cycles you've completed. Full cycles. All right. I love the honesty. Thanks, you guys. So the first thing that I'm going to give you for homework is you got to raise your belief. Okay. There are people who have already completed their Christmas cash once. There are people who have done it twice. I think there's even people who have done it 3 times. And if they can do it, you can do it. And so you've got to first believe in yourself and make sure that you have the right energy and to make sure that you know that you can do it. And Cami put out a challenge today on her Instagram to listen to The Strangest Secret every day. And last month was a hard month for me. I mean, I had my lowest month of enrollments that I've had in a long time. And I couldn't figure out what was going on, like in my head. And I was just not feeling it. And I actually started listening to Strangest Secret on the 1st. So I was like, I'm already on day 3. So I'm good. I'm good, Cami. Like I'm ready for it. But you guys who are at 0s at 1s, like I would give you that challenge. Start listening to The Strangest Secret. It's 30 minutes long. It's free on YouTube. If you want it, you can listen to it in 1.5 speed. I pretty much have the whole thing memorized, but I still listen to it. I would encourage you guys to listen to Strangest Secret every single morning, first thing when you wake up. Okay. That's going to help change your belief, and it's going to help just bring people into your space, the right energy, the right people, everything. Okay. Because anybody can do this. And then the next thing I would give you to do is to create your task list. Like pick 3 to 5 things that are going to be your non-negotiables. You won't go to bed until it's done. There's a girl on my team. She said, I'm going to get up 5 host posts every day this month. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And she did it the first day. And you know what she said yesterday? She's like, I've only got 2 up, but I tried my best. And I said, it is the 2nd of the month. I don't think so. She lived on the East Coast, so she had 30 minutes left. I said, here's a message. You will send this to everybody who is online right now until you get it done. And so like you guys, if you want it to work, you have to do the work. And so what is that? You get to decide. But when you start keeping promises that you make to yourself, all of a sudden your life is going to change. You can't say you're going to do something and then not follow through. So I just want you guys to pick 3 things 3 things that you haven't done before. We had this come to Jesus talk all together. I said, how many times have you guys said that you're going to do something and you haven't done it? And I made my team unmute and I made them tell us what they said they were going to do last month and what they're going to do this month to change it. Right. And so for me, I was like, I had a really bad enrollment yesterday or last month. I think it's because I started my day planning it, but then I just went to bed and I didn't actually go back through and say, what did I get done? And so I said, the change I'm going to make this month is I'm going to start my day in my office, looking at my daily task sheet, and I'm going to end my day in my office, completing my daily task sheet. And ever since doing that, I mean, I've got I've already completed 1 cycle. I've got 4 customers and 1 distributor, and it's the 3rd of the month. Because I made a change, I made sure that I was actually doing the work. And so if you guys are not good at host to post, make a goal to get 3 up every single day. Make a promise to yourself that you won't go to bed until you at least just do 3, right? Like you can do 3. You can make that happen in your first 3 minutes of the day, right? That's the first thing you get done. And guess what? As you get 3 up, all of a sudden it becomes easy. And now it's like, now I'm getting up 5. And now 5 becomes easy, but you have to start. Like, if you're like, I have to get Christmas cash, I got to get up 10 host posts a day and you're not used to it, then you're going to set yourself up for failure. But so I want you guys to decide, like, what are the 3 ways that you bring in customers? And I want you to set some goals. So drop some things in the comments. So for me, my 3 ways would be host to post is number 1. Host to post, I've got to get those up every single day. The reach out messages is number 2. So I printed my Facebook friends list and I start at the very top, oldest friends first, and I work all the way down and I send out at least 30 of those messages every single day. That's a non-negotiable for me. And then 3 videos on TikTok, because right now that's what's hot and I have to make sure that I'm doing that. So those are my 3 things that I don't go to bed until it's done. And so you guys just need to figure that out. So host, post, messages, stories. I see that. And then have a set number. So sorry, I know that was kind of long, but I think that those are the 2 things that are going to help you guys move forward in the right direction, is listening to Stranger's Secret first thing every day, and then creating your non-negotiable and sticking to it, and creating that non-negotiable in a way that will make sure that you win. So that way you can start to build that confidence and belief in yourself. Don't write it down. Don't say you're going to do it unless if you're going to commit to it 100%. Even if it's 1 host post, it's better than what you've been doing consistently. Okay. Just make it happen every single day.
I love that. It would be nice if y'all could, thanks for the 2 people that put theirs in so far. It'd be nice if, there we go. Here they come. Put them in here. This is interactive, guys. Comment, put your 3 ways in there so we can see it. So, all right. Another thing I have was, in reference to, okay, here we go. Oh, it went away. Okay. So another thing I had is in reference to, distributors, your tip on that. Is it the messaging for host to post that basically do it, or TikTok and Reels? Like, those are basically your methods for enrollments?
To sign distributors.
Yeah.
So how I get most of mine is I scroll Instagram and I scroll Facebook for posts that make me stop and make me read, or it's a really good photo. And then I go look at their page. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're already posting how I would want a distributor to post. And I just shoot them a message and just says, hey, I was just checking out your page and I think you do really great at what I do. Are you open to an extra stream of income? And that's basically how I plant the seed. I'm always bringing new people into my market with host to post, giveaway host to post, and then having people follow me from TikTok over to Instagram. And I'm very consistent with my posting. I'm always posting about my life and what this business has done and story slides and those things. And so I'll have a lot of people who will vote on my polls, or who will like reach out and message and be like, what do you actually do? And then, yes, I do message for a host to post, but I would say the unique way that I do it is just by looking to see who's already on social media and doing well with it.
I agree. And that's also way less work because they're already, have the interaction. They already have the people, the engagement, things like that. Some of them may already, there's certain people that when they first get started, you got to teach them how to even post a picture. So things like that be key. So I get that. I definitely get that. Anybody have a question real quick before I bring Rusty back on? You want to ask comments or whichever way? Rusty, you can go ahead while if they think of one.
Can I quick ask a question while I have a
Oh.
second?
Okay, go ahead. There you go.
Does anybody have any pointers for like somebody who's just like bright new to TikTok? Like I've been trying, I'm all new to it. For some reason I keep getting banned. They keep saying my videos are bad or something. And I'm like, what did I do? I'm like doing the best I can. I'm moving. I'm like, what do you do? Why am I being blocked?
Got-
I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out, what am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something right? Like, can someone help me?
Gotcha. So tips for TikTok and a couple do's and don'ts type of situation, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm
your
just
overall
like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not doing something wrong? Like one girl was like, you're doing it right. That's why they're banning you.
Oh, gotcha. Are you a big TikToker, Tamika?
I mean, I'm not as big as some. I made a really, really silly elk calling video. And I have over 55,000 followers from one silly video. And so I would just say, don't overthink it. Just keep making them, just keep doing it. I've been using the same Slimming Gummies voiceover. I'm sure that most of you guys have seen. And, my first video got like 20 views. My next video got 100. And now my last video has over 1,000 and I can't even keep up on the comments. And I just keep making the same voiceover on a different day when I'm eating my Slimming Gummies. I'm like, oh, let me do this quick 16-second TikTok. And I literally just eat my gummies on it and then post it. And like, I just keep doing the same ones, go follow people who are successful on TikTok and just copy exactly what they do. I was doing, they have a GoPro event out right now with Eric Worre. And on there, the speaker today said, go to my Instagram and take the sound from this reel and post it. And I did. And I've got over 1,500 views on an opportunity video just because here's this successful person that said, hey, go do this right now. And I went and did it. And it works. And you might get videos that get taken down. Everybody doesn't matter. I don't even think twice about it. I just make it again and post it again. I don't really read into very much. I just do the work and keep doing it.
I love that. And for you guys to actually know, like you don't have to do a lot. Sometimes less is better. You don't have to be extra detailed and things like that. I've noticed that myself. I try to be extra with some of my videos. And the ones on the days I don't feel like it is the days people comment. So it's definitely, that consistency is what it's going to take, Samantha. Just let go of the frustration and keep going. That's all you can do. Rusty?
Yeah, listen to everything. I'm super inspired. I love the questions. I love what I saw, the honesty and transparency in the chat. How many of you run into a problem today? You're just like, wow, God, wow. You let it happen to me. Did you know that at every problem, within the problem lies the opportunity? And so I was talking to a group of people in the early morning Zoom from another country. And I said, when they first come to America, I've been to the place where they said the Mayflower come over and everybody having to do the manual labor and they was having to cut the trails and build the huts. And finally somebody brought some horses and some mules over, made it a little bit easier. And then they was able to go a little further, do a little more. And then finally it just got too hot. They'd have to pull the coats on and put them on while they rode the mules. And then Mr. Ford come out, he invented a car. And now due to that problem we had through the course of time, they've made it better. And now we all have cars that in controlled climates, they'll even stir themselves now. And they do everything for me. I can listen to any kind of music I want. I can plug all my stuff into my computer screen in my truck. It comes up. I can talk to you. What I'm saying, there was a problem, but then they created solutions and they just made it better through the course of time. And so when I was very sick about 18 years ago, without the medication, without the problem to produce the medication, I might not have made it. That's what they said. And then once the medication got me to the point of taking care of the problem to a particular point, then I met Mark and all this nutrition. Now I'm in a preventative measure so I don't ever occur that problem again. So I don't care what your problem is. Within the infrastructure of your problem, there is where your opportunity is. There's where your blessing is. Become a critical thinker and just put the work in. As Tamika says, you got to get up and show up, and you won't go up until you start to grow up. And I love the fact that she listens to The Greatest Secret in the World every morning as a favorite. She mentions some books that she reads. She's self-developing as she grows, because she will never go to the next level. You nor me, or none of us will go to the next level till we grow to the next level. So the subtotal of everybody you're hanging around and what you're putting in your mind with this crappy stuff on stupid television, which I don't like. That's just me personally. I don't have time for it. My time is too valuable because I love to look at myself as I invest my time, as Tamika does. I love the schedule. I love the no electronics for the children. As she's teaching them how to invest their time properly so she can do what? Get an ROI, which is a return on her investment. Because, time is very precious. You can't buy no more of it. And whatever you wasted, you can't get it back. So you have to value your time. And as you value your time, as you encounter these problems like the TikTok, it's just a problem. And she says, what, just keep going after it. You're going to find something, develop something that's going to create what? The opportunity within the problem. See, now you're in the learning stages. And I don't think God will allow us to have any more than we're capable or mature to handle. And you'll never go to the next level until you mature up so you can handle that blessing and you won't waste it. If you can't handle a little bit of money, I'll start saving when I get a lot. No, you won't. You'll be poor girl or poor boy rich. And then you'll end up with nothing later in life because what? You've created this celebrity seduction that we're all seeing. What I love about tonight's Zoom, the honesty, and it's nothing more than everything was centered around who can I help next in a couple ways. How can I help you physically? And how can that lead into possibly helping you financially? And see, therefore, most people see what we do as they have those problems. And we have to be the ones that communicate the story. Your story is the most precious thing you've got. So when you learn to effectively communicate your story, what you're trying to get across to the people, and all you're doing is creating solutions for other people's problems, be it physical, be it financial, be it freedom, be it whatever. And so when you get great at communicating your story, and you never settle for what happened just a minute ago to the day you were born, take the pen in your hand, and every day you have to journal, rewrite your comeback story for tomorrow. That means you're going to set a daily plan of action. You're going to set some parameters. This must get done. Not it has to get, no, it must get done. That's an indefinite article that it's got to happen or we don't go to bed. And so when you start to run your life like a CEO, you become the boss of your own life. You become the boss of your business. And the beautiful part about the problem that most people have in business, I used to own a chain of grocery stores. My wife owned restaurants. This is so streamlined of what we have. I don't have to do nothing but make a few posts, make a few answers, make a few calls, and get on a few Zooms during the course of my day, take a few products, get really healthy every single day. And I don't have to do anything else. So your business for $150, you're streamlined. You don't have to have a warehouse. You didn't have to invest all this money. I invested back when I got in, I think it was $300 or $400. That has turned into mega millions of dollars. You know why? Because we show up every single day because I'm passionate about one thing: freedom. I woke up an alarm clock in 20 years. I don't plan on starting tomorrow. I want to help every one of you gain your freedom. See, to me, it works is not, no, we're all brothers and sisters because we had a family reunion. And when we work really hard together on creating solutions for each other's problems, so we can go out and communicate that forward, what happens? It creates solvency in your opportunity. That means you have foundation to go build anything you want to. Nobody has made the most. Nobody. And if you understood what I understand about marketing, where we're going between now and the first of the year, you would not waste 1 second of your day. You would sleep less. You would wake up earlier. You would take better care of yourself. You would get ready for the big run. We're just in the beginning stages of the big run. We're getting ready to walk onto the field for this Super Bowl, Pro Bowl challenge. And you got to come out of the stands. You got to get on the field. You got to, in preparation, mentally, physically. And when we start to move and play this game, we're going to dwarf the entire industry. We're already set up for it because we're already taking #1 spots in several areas in this industry. How many of you like to be part of a winning team? I like to win. I hate to lose. And I never lose. You know why? Because I never quit. I've had plenty of times to walk away from this thing, but I always saw the opportunity in the problem. And I'm going to say this and we're going to end it. God already knows where your life is going. He knows how mature you are, but what you need to do to get to the next level. Every one of you are going to the top. And when I left the bank as a senior vice president of a major top 5 bank in the United States of America, God already knew I was going to have a problem. So he sent Mr. Pentecost into my life. And then he sent some people that started, well, let's put some nutrition in. He already knew I was going to have a sick problem 2 years after I left the bank as I really started coming after this. And I got the tumor wrapped around my pituitary and I had to do all that medical treatment. I already had a solution sitting right here in our own infrastructure to take care of what? My problem. So out of every adversity lies a siege of an equal or greater benefit. And when you focus on the benefit of your adversity, it means you're growing up, you're growing into this next level of maturity. And you know what? When that begins to happen, you can live life any way you want to. Nobody else can dictate your future. Circumstances can't dictate your future. You're the one that puts your future pen to paper, and you're the one that what? Writes out the future any way you want to live this thing called life. And she said something that really struck me a while ago. They like to hunt. Well, I was born in the mountains. I love to hunt. That's my favorite pastime for my two little girls, or my two grown daughters and me. We love to hunt, and we spend a lot of our time in the mountains of Virginia hunting. You know why? Because that's something we love to do. Do you know why? Because that's just what we love to do, and we have the abilities to do that. Because when you throw the alarm clock out of your house, let's make a pact with all of us, Tamika. Let's see how many dirt services we can have between now and the first of the year. We want to be the #1 company in dirt service. What is a dirt service? That's the day you walk in and fire your boss. There's not a better feeling in the world when you walk in and say you fired, and you walk out and you know you ain't never got to go back. How many of you's in for the dirt service? Put a 3 in the chat. Because if you complete the 3 cycles, you're going to get a $3,500 Christmas bonus. If you're ready for the dirt service, I know I was the first one to get the dirt service, but I quit before I joined. I come home and joined, and my wife was going to collect the insurance on me because I walked away from a big old job, and we were very poor. The only poor we had was in the mind. And when we started growing up and gained the wealth in the mind, all this other stuff just started to click. And she's told you all about it right here tonight in her story. So as you develop and cultivate your story and you get more effective at telling your story, you know what's going to happen? You'll start to catch the interview of a lot of people that don't want to listen to you now. Like the little girl called her interviewer. She got to a problem, and what? The little girl that she was going to ghost and not that wanted to look at it. Really? No, she already had the problem. She didn't know it yet, but then she grew to know it after her summer of marathons. Tamika, I appreciate you being on here tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank every one of you on your time. I want you to have the best night ever. I want you to go into tomorrow with a winner's mindset, with a CEO mindset. What decisions will I make tomorrow to further my business, to create a future for my family that they deserve? And one thing I need you to know, you're worth it, you deserve it, and I totally unconditionally love you. And until tomorrow, I want you to make this the best night you've ever had. Thank you, ladies.